Short look at the TRY, USDTRY, that's the Turkish lira. I was retweeting as Erdogan's appointed son-in-law, I think it was, to a key economic position. Young Turks, time is on your side. I don't know if you remember that Rod Stewart song from the 80s. Anyway, reaching for the stars, 9.666. So what are we doing? This is our sniper circle. This is the new platform that we had beta testing level that all our guys will be moving over to. There'll be minor changes on branding and look and feel, but every trade idea, this is in the setup side, every trade idea is, the macro is presented. The Turkish lira, wow, this has been the gift currency pair of the last 7 years for me. On any time frame, I don't think we've lost an upside HVF on this. We've traded it 6 or 7 times. Right way back when it was at about 1.74. I'm talking many, now feels like a long time ago. It's been on a slide for a long time now, and it keeps giving continuation patterns. So this is a kind of macro, but in fact our first trades were well to the left here on the monthly, and we took a better part of it, I think about 5 years ago, when it was at 1.74, and it was setting up and tightening for so long, and then we had a huge overperformance with multiple wind-ups on the way. It was just a great trade. Anyway, the key part was we were looking at this structure and giving the clarity about which direction is the trend. So when you're looking at the trend view, it's more about assessing what gets continued. In other words, our assessment of HVFs are always a continuation patterns. Sometimes people don't recognize when there's been a trend change event very early, and that's when others classify them as reversal patterns. We say they're continuation patterns. So understanding the environment prior to the lead up and ensuring that there's not been a trend change event is quite critical. So this looked like continuation. That's the macro. We're drilling it down a little bit there. You can see it did have a blow off and a bit of a pullback and a little bit of a bounce, was quite flat bottom, then another rally, then falling wedges here. And then actually this one broke from really deep. You might see there's other lines in there. When you drop the time frame into the trigger time frame, you'll see when it actually set up. So this was post the news of the appointment. As I say, I was tweeting on that. That's a bigger view of the pattern, and you're going to actually have to go into the next charts to actually see. This is why we talk about fractals and primers. The news is always leaked before the news. So here was the real stirring. These are your real insiders that knew about this highly politicized appointment. Very low volatility at our relative low 2. A pump, check, pump, and then a rest, and then really low vol, and then more the news starting to drift out, and then the actual announcement came in after the triggering event was taken. So that's what's called a primer. Now the risk, you wouldn't, it's just not practical in trading to have your long on that green line and your short on the red, but for safety's sake you could have put it down here and you could have got long a lot earlier. By squeezing the funnel you get a lot shorter risk. By squeezing the funnel you get much smaller risk. But by the time this is a retro draw for me. I wasn't watching this before. I saw the news wires and we were already roughly where you see here. It was about here. And then by the time I'd drawn and got my act together, it had pushed a little higher. Because it was a deep, early relative low 2 break. So remember this pattern, you can see it comes quite quickly. You didn't get in clear and obvious 3. So we were a bit late to the scene of the crime, but not so late that it couldn't still be interesting. So if we just go out of that and we look at the updates, this is where we have a WhatsApp-like chat functionality where you can discuss all the setups, and you can see the update. Since that, note how you got the pullback. So speculate, we teach also that you get second chances. That didn't come all the way to the funnel, but that came some way down, almost to the first interim, which was not a big challenge. So you could have got filled on that wick, and now you're moving your way on. So target for us for closure is 5.05 on an upside HVF with a break from the relative low 2 point. We call that an early break, relative low 2. But as I've already pointed out, there was a primer in there earlier on, and you have to drop time frame to see the trigger time frame event. So this video is going to be particularly useful for my guys that have gone through all the theory weekend. It might be over a lot of guys' heads, in terms of the detail. I don't mean anything by that, but it helps to be trained in this properly. go to the website if you're interested. And once again, as I say, it's not for everybody. So yeah, so that's the new platform and an example on the Lira. I'm just going to switch and check which one have we got. Where's the Lira? I think it might be one of these. A lot of crypto up here. I might have to open it up to see exact. There it is. I thought I had it. You see that now the key message we gave, having just run the second interim, is not to chase that, to try and get the last thing. We don't have a chaser trade. And what are you getting here? You've just run your second interim. This is going to actually make a decent update, in fact. So I'll update the guys on that that on watching the YouTubes, or I'll late to them. And you've run your second interim. So what that actually means is post interim run, you get a degree of exhaustion, so it might pull back. Doesn't change the fact that we have a target and we're expecting it to be run, and neither does it change the fact that this is performing exceedingly well and there's plenty of time for this target to be made. So it broke really early and there's plenty of time frame. You'll learn about time frame analysis as well on a program. In other words, not only do you have a target and a stop, you have a point by which you expect the trade to be made. Otherwise, new forces have come into play that are headwinds, that are slowing the progress and will later overall your current move. And this saves you countless times, and it means you actually close a lot of trades with partial profits without actually ending up taking a loss. Which is gratifying when you watch it later lose its momentum, either whether it was an upside or a downside. Okay, so that's a USDTRY. We'll be on the last day of this month, we'll be doing a it's not what you make, it's what you keep webinar, and I'll do an update on the Euro USD as well. So there's stuff going on the FX side of some interest. So yeah, I'll keep you informed. Hope you enjoy it and speak to you all soon. The Lira, the gift that keeps on giving. You can't stop genius at work, I say. Yes, indeed. Speak to you guys later. Enjoy yourselves.